And we're live.
Woo!
Woohoo! Only 7 minutes late.
That's
It's a
very
record for
unlikely.
us.
Yeah, that is.
I think people expect that
Do you
for
think?
us to be late.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I maybe not so much with you. They think you're on time all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always on time.
Sydney.
Sid's like me.
Sid's, you've been impressive on that.
If
I have to admit.
if you're on time, you're late. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Us and Tom Coughlin, we get
Wow.
along
Okay,
great.
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's like the biggest fight Ben and I consistently have because he'll try and just do the most annoying, unnecessary shit right before we're about to leave that he's had like weeks to
He's
do.
been doing that lately.
No.
Yes.
No.
All of a
It's
sudden you'll start to
awful.
make calls or something when we have to go.
They're important. Okay.
Yeah.
They're life-altering calls.
No,
That's
they're
what
not.
Brandon was doing this week. So when we were together the whole week, every time we were getting ready to go somewhere, and we're trying to be on time going to do events with college kids. So I'm like, we're the adults. We need to be there on time and early. And every time we're getting ready to leave the house, as soon as that happens, Brandon's upstairs doing something or trying to have some weird nonsense conversation. And the anxiety from like offensive line life in me is like, dude, we need to go
We need to
now.
go.
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
So there's
start
the
getting-
difference. There's the difference because he's a D lineman and we
Right.
kind of play by a different set of rules. It's
Yeah.
so true.
The biggest positional divide was seen
Yep.
right there because it was giving me, and I was like getting snippy. I love Brandon, but it like being late offends me because I feel like it's disrespectful and all that baggage built in. It's bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's disrespectful to everyone else's time, and I get so mean. And Ben's like, we're going to Orange Theory. Like, we don't need to sit in the lobby for 15 minutes. And
All
I'm
right, well,
just
no,
like,
that I agree with
Yes.
because you guys go to Orange Theory insanely. There's no reason to be there 15 minutes
well,
early.
you know what?
Absolutely
Ben,
agree.
This is what Ben does, though. He wants to say workouts at 10. He wants to show up at 9:58, and then he will just bitch and bitch and bitch about him not getting the treadmill that he wanted because the treadmills aren't good there. And I'm like, well, you got to show up fucking early to get the treadmills. Like, you can't have
Okay.
it both ways. You
So
can't show
that
up 2
that
minutes before.
that does make sense from your standpoint. I understand that.
So I'm the other way. I would rather get there at 9:59, and I don't care where I start. I
No.
don't care.
Well, the treadmills literally
lower,
stop when he runs. So
floor. I don't
Yes.
care. We literally, it's 10 minutes from us, and we literally leave a half hour early.
But you know what? I like sitting in the lobby too and like listening and talking to people and stuff too. So
Well, maybe that's
Oh,
a difference. I'm not social.
yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm in the middle of all this, but I skew more towards Dad because I agree with Sydney. Getting there late and then complaining about your lot in life once you get there, that's a no-fly zone. But I'm with Dad where I like to get there and I'm in and out in silence. Like I
Yep.
really don't interact with it. I'm here for the hour of business with my
Right.
body that I need to get done. Certainly I'm, ready to go in there and announce my presence with authority on the rower, make sure everybody feels my weight, but I really don't need to converse. I get out after I get my keys and I bolt. I'm not here in the lobby fraternizing with everybody.
know what?
Like our buddy Jason Fitz, who has made Orange Theory his home now.
Yeah, he
You know what
has.
my
You're right.
problem is Mike, you're like a really social person. Like my friends are like the 45-year-old moms in the 10 a.m. So like it's my only like human interaction sometimes that I really get with people.
And
like
Mike, you don't go regularly either. Like, so you don't start to build a relationship, like a little relationship with the people that are in the classes all the time. Because you're off and on, right, Mike?
I know you guys like to do that. I get in there and I say hi, and then I just want to work out and I want to leave. You know what? People are talking in there. People complain about the coaches that they're not very good. I don't care. An hour, I know what the workout's going to be, and I just do it. And I get in and I get out. But because I love your mother so much, we leave a half hour early and we sit in the lobby for 15, 20
You know what?
minutes.
I don't like your tone.
What do
right
you mean
now.
my tone? Did
you know
my
what I
tone
will-
change?
Yes.
Did it?
You know what
I
I
don't
will
know.
say too, when I've gone with Mom and Sydney, we sit in the lobby and talk to each other. We're not
Yes.
talking with a bunch of other people. We sit
It's
in the
different
pod
when
and we
you're
talk
with-
to the same people we were at home with.
Boom. Boom. Yes.
You know what my biggest thing with Dad is, though, when we go to Orange Theory, is we'll get there like 15, 20 minutes early, and then class starts at 10. This motherfucker is outside or in the bathroom with the shoelaces untied.
Oh
and
yeah,
just
he doesn't
strolls
tie
in
his
late.
shoes until he gets into the class and then sits on the back of the treadmill and ties his
I
shoes.
wait. Because I tie them
Why?
I tie them kind of tight, and I don't want to be sitting there with my shoes kind of tied tight. I only want them tied tight right as I'm going to start to work. If you want to rip me for that, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't care.
I mean, I
Go
also
ahead.
tie my shoes
Do you
tight,
hear
but I
his
do it
attitude?
before.
Do you hear the attitude?
Well, it's really a difference of styles when it comes to the approach to
Yes.
group workout classes, because me and Dad are there siloed. There are other people around, and I like Orange Theory for the same reason I like New York City, because there's fun colored lights and because I get the feeling of people around me. I don't want to talk to any of them, and I don't really want to have anything to do with most of them, but I like knowing they're there because it makes me feel warm in the places that I need to. That sounds weird saying it out loud. I don't mean it like that. But yeah, no, I want to go there and I want to get it done, and I don't need a bunch of everybody else, because the people that talk in class, how can you talk if you're
You can't.
working hard?
Well, that's
you should be
different.
out of
That's
breath.
different.
It's insane.
Not class.
Yeah, they don't do that. I give them that. But we are in class at times, and we just hear people, talking, and it just, that aggravates the hell out of me, because I guess a lot of that, Mike, is from the weight room when we were working out, we were playing. Nobody was doing that. You're working your ass off. You're not having conversations in there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I got humbled this weekend back in South Bend too. I told you guys about this off air, but Mikey A, you didn't hear this. So I was back in South Bend this weekend co-hosting the Oscars, or like the student athlete awards on campus at Notre Dame. And it was me and my buddy Brandon Newman, who was a D tackle for us. So we were both D1 athletes. We were co-hosting with these two women on the volleyball team, young women. They're like 20 years old. And so we had to go over and shoot some like TikTok dances that we were going to use for the award show, which was humbling in its own way to have 20-year-olds teaching us how to do TikTok dances. But then after we were on their volleyball practice court, they're like, do you guys want to play twos? So we had one of them on each team with one of us. And going out there and trying to be dynamic, because Orange Theory, you move around, but it's straight line and you know what you're going to do. You control the pace. My knees, shins, and calves are as sore as they've been in years. I went back home the rest of that day and I had to take shallow breaths because my lungs felt like they had knives in them after 25 minutes of playing 2-on-2 volleyball, which I won, by the way.
That's the most important question. I mean, to borrow a phrase from our friend Mark Schlereth, don't tell me about the pain, show me the baby. Like, did you win? That's what I need to know.
Yeah.
But you
Mikey,
won,
A,
so
how's
it's
your
all worth
workout?
it.
Mikey A, what's your routine like? Are you on our side or the women's side on this?
Well, I tend to work out with 16-ounce mugs, and that's about it.
Nice.
My dog.
On your
wrong
own
with that?
time.
Yep. There you
On
go.
my own time, yes.
Everybody.
I'm never late.
Never late.
Yeah,
Never
Brian
late.
says I went on a shoelace tying method deep dive a while back. Yeah, I don't see why that's an issue.
Well,
I do the same thing. I just do it before, I go in.
I guess I don't understand why, 2 minutes before class, if we're sitting there, you can't just.
I
lace them
probably
up.
can. Maybe it's more of a habit thing now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
By the
here's
way,
an
I
interesting
wonder if-
question I have. I'm sorry.
No.
Before we get off topic here, because my guess prior to this podcast would have been easy, and now after hearing you talk, I'm not sure if the entire Golic family was going to an event. Who are you waiting for? Who's the one that's not?
Probably Ben.
Wow.
Yeah. Ben seems to have
It's
that.
always Ben.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
surprising.
Which is surprising. I know.
Yeah.
That's not his personality. From the interactions, I would assume Ben is the guy that's waiting in the car honking.
Right. No.
No,
Ben is going to be a
sometimes I
doctor,
pull
so I
out.
hope he stops that.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you've never waited in a waiting room at a doctor's office.
Yeah,
I'm in the hospital.
I think that's a prerequisite.
Late, so
Yes, they are. He'll fit in nicely.
he'll
Yeah,
fit in
he
great,
will.
yeah.
And I'm glad it's him now because that takes it, because it was me. I was that guy, but Ben has taken over, so I'm happy about that.
You guys are pretty similar, but I'd say he's a little worse. You just kind of like
Do you ever think that he does it just to aggravate you because you aggravate him so much?
100%. I'd say 50% of the time it's like that. So,
Playing chess.
but then we got in
honestly.
a really big fight one time, and so I think it's more like he tries and just doesn't succeed at it though. So
Which is
Oh,
weird.
there's valor.
Yeah.
There's valor in the attempt.
There is.
By
There
the
is.
by the way, welcome to Sorry in Advance, the Golic Family
yeah.
podcast. Thank you to everybody in the chat. As always, you can download, subscribe, rate, and review. You can check us out on the SIA YouTube channel also. We got some big announcements coming up in prior weeks. This is sort of the show before, or excuse me, in upcoming weeks. This is sort of the show before the show. We're going to do a little bit of Grill Golic in this episode. I know we've got some questions for Dad. If you've got some questions also, you can throw them in the chat. I see some there already that have made their way onto this. So we'll get to some of those also. We've got some more announcements about some stuff related to our Golic Subpar Classic Golf Tournament that's coming up, as you can see on the screen, June 25th and 26th. If you're listening to the podcast, June 25th and 26th are the dates, like I just said. So we've got a lot of that going on. But in the meantime, do we want to start with the Grill Golic questions? Is there anything else I'm missing, Mom, as far as podcast business?
I think that Dad would like to have a few minutes to talk about Gordon Lightfoot.
Yes. Yeah. So this was a sad time for me. Now, anybody that's listened to me over the years know I would talk about one Gordon Lightfoot. If some of you are sitting there saying, who is Gordon Lightfoot? He was an incredible singer-songwriter out of Canada who passed away. He was 84 years old. We went to a concert of his back in 2011 and 2013. I have pictures of him. Mikey, I should have sent them to you so we could put them up. But he, Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Sundown, Carefree Highway. Again, I might be talking gibberish to some people who may not know. But phenomenal singer, phenomenal storyteller. If you don't know who it is or haven't heard of him, play some of his songs. Google him. Play some of his songs and just listen to the storytelling. It's fantastic. But I've sung him many a times on the shows I've done over the last couple of decades, and I will continue to. I do have, I'm bummed a little bit when I go to places where there's karaoke. They rarely have a lot of karaoke for Gordon Lightfoot. So I'm hoping that changes.
I think because it's too slow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Could you imagine 6 minutes of Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald karaoke?
I'm not trying to really party to that.
Ship on down to the big lake they call Get You.
People be like, who is this guy?
I'd love to imagine that there's one
karaoke.
I'd love to imagine there's one stripper out there who dances exclusively to Gordon Lightfoot.
That'd be me.
Yeah,
if I was.
Yeah, unfortunately she's 70.
Yeah.
Mike, what's her name? What's her name?
Yeah. As someone who unfortunately has been multiple times to a strip club in Pinehurst, North Carolina, I feel like she's probably there.
Oh God.
It's oddly specific.
I had to keep the contest winners happy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, Mike.
By the way, Dad, I will say those pictures you posted with Gordon Lightfoot, and I mean this respectfully because obviously he is now no longer with us. That man looked 84 years old for the last 30 years of his life.
He did.
He looked like he was roughly 1,000 in that picture of you guys in 2011.
It was, and when you're with him in person, he is small, he is frail.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that man, you know, listen, we always joke about our buddy Darius Rucker. Darius Rucker says, I'm going to die on stage. That's how much I love performing. I'm going to do it my whole life. That's basically what Gordon Lightfoot did. I mean, he was supposed to be out here in Phoenix in the middle of April, and we were going to go to the concert. And I know one of the guys in the band, and he emailed and he said, we're holding off on the tour a little bit. And we were both like,
We both looked at each other and said, oh, no.
Yeah, but he was 84, and that man has been touring.
He's a machine. That's why we knew.
He's been touring since the 60s. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable what this guy has been doing, and he still sounds great. So, you know, R.I.P. Gordon Lightfoot. I mean, I will continue to play his songs and sing along very loud to them all.
Do you guys have a favorite song just from being around us so much? Like, do you have a favorite Gordon Lightfoot?
I have an appreciation for the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald because I don't think we get one of my favorite songs, which is Walt Gray's Submarine Ride by John Mayer, without the influence of something like the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, like telling a really long story that's probably an allegory for something in his life through the wreck of a giant ship. That screen, I think that like was the ripple effect that begot that one. So I'd probably rock with that one.
Okay.
Sydney, you have one?
I mean, Carefree Highway is a classic. I like Sundown. I like If You Could Read My Mind.
Yeah,
Probably
that's a good song.
Three.
Mikey A, do you have
From
any
now on.
knowledge of Gordon Lightfoot?
I know If You Can Read My Mind. That's a good song. I bet it's one of those things where I might not know it's Gordon Lightfoot's,
Right.
but when I hear it, I know that song.
Fun fact about that song: it was re-recorded over 100 times by different artists.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
If you go on iTunes and you scroll through, If You Could Read My Mind, it's amazing. All the different artists who have sang
over
that song.
100 people. Yeah,
All
covered
right.
that.
We
What a
gotta
legend.
retire that then. There's gotta be a limit on the amount of people that can do that.
Well, there
I'm
was
sorry.
some we listened to that were
Johnny Cash was.
Johnny Cash, and I loved. Listen, I'm a Johnny Cash fan, but that was a rough one.
It
But
was real, yeah.
I love the question from Lori. She asked me if Pappy, and again, that's my grandfather name, Pappy. If I'm going to play Gordon Lightfoot for young Jackson, our grandchild, who is 10 months old, and yes, I will. I am one of the things I'm most proud of is Sydney at 28 years old. Basically, if a 70s song comes on, she knows it and she sings it because of driving around a lot when she was young. That's what we would listen to. So Jackson will get the full 70s effect, which will include one Gordon Lightfoot.
Jake went with us to one of the Gordon Lightfoot
Yes, he did.
concerts. He
Yeah.
wanted to go.
I'm
so-
sorry I didn't send those pictures.
Yeah.
One of them was, me, Chris, and Jake with Gordon. And you're right, Mike. The dude, and this was in 2013, so that was
10 years ago.
so he was 74 in that, but he still
Yeah.
looked he looked rough, but he could still get after it.
It is amazing that Dad has become the foremost Gordon Lightfoot source for so many people. Lori Busco in the chat says Golic was the first person I thought of when Gordon Lightfoot died. I got a DM from a random woman who said, "How's your
Same.
dad doing? I saw Gordon Lightfoot died."
She
Weston
got a
Dudley
phone.
says,
I have a message on my phone.
On their phone.
From some person. He's like, "You don't know who I am." He's from Texas, and he's like, "I just wanted to check on Mike and see how he was doing since Gordon Lightfoot died." I'm like, "How did this guy get my number?"
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
yeah, that's a bigger problem, probably.
Yeah.
we need to explore.
I was gonna say you might want to look into that. So
Yeah, I would agree.
But they were coming
Weston-
out of the woodwork.
Weston Dudley said, "I listened to him after I heard you on Golic and Smetty talking about his music, and I'm a fan now. So reach one, teach one, Dad. You got someone else on the
There you
on
go.
the books."
There you go. Like that a lot.
Dear God.
Buddy, the guy's name was
Herman.
Buddy Hamilton. So if you're out there, buddy, I got your
Sounds made up.
voice message.
Yeah.
He was an older guy, so I believe that he was Buddy Hamilton.
Honestly, he probably got you in the yellow pages or something then. Because if it was a young person, I was going to say maybe you need to make sure your phone number is not on any of your social media pages. Sometimes it's buried in there. But I like to think Buddy was just in the yellow pages. Chris Golic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there he is.
He called 38 Sydney Golic or Christine Golics and just finally got the right one.
That's I have a feeling most people, especially my age, if you didn't hear Gordon Lightfoot from your parents, it was on one of the CD commercials that used to run on TV late night.
Oh yeah.
Gordon wouldn't have been on Now That's What I Call Music, but there were so many of the other ones that were 70s and 80s rock, and it's with hits like Carefree Highway by Gordon Lightfoot, and then you
I
get
think
the
it was
little
called.
snippet.
Was it called Singers and Songwriters from
Yes,
Texas?
that's it.
Unstoppable
Exactly.
Ballads.
That's it.
Yes.
That is it.
Unstoppable Ballads.
Yes.
Oh my
We
God.
had all of them.
We had all of them.
We had
Oh
all of
yeah.
them, yeah.
Oh, the thrill of watching TV and falling asleep late night and then getting woken up by Now That's What I Call Music, Volume 35.
Yeah. So true.
What a time. Holy hell. I don't know how people do it now without that. Good to rest in peace, Gordon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let it run.
Yep.
Also one of the last people named Gordon living and breathing on
Yes.
this earth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
don't
making
know
Gordons
many people.
anymore.
maybe they'll
Gordon
become
Ramsay.
popular again.
Protect him.
Gordon Ramsay.
Protect Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Yep. So
A shortage of Gordons. We got to address
Yes.
that, hopefully.
So there you go. So a question from NWI Irish 96. What food or drink could we offer to entice the Golics to visit our pregame tailgate at Notre Dame?
Cinnamon rolls.
Beer.
yeah.
Cinnamon rolls.
Some-
Nice.
Local
Martin's
beers.
Donut.
Martin Donuts.
Martin's
Donuts. Good
But-
call.
or Rise and Roll donuts too.
Yeah.
I
We
was
take the
thinking
good
about
Amish
Rise
stuff.
and Roll a few days ago.
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah.
shit.
You see where our heads are.
The last time I had Rise and Roll was at my buddy Trevor Robinson's wedding out here. They catered it for the late night snack. and
Yeah.
we were 26 at that point, so we were 3 sheets to the wind. And I'm sitting in a chair, and my buddy Braxton comes and has a rise and roll donut in his hand and full on clubs me in the side of the head with it. So I'm covered in powder, falling on the ground, eating a rise and roll donut off the ground. I have a love
About right.
relationship with them.
Yes. Oh, so good. So good. Mikey, Kenny Miller in the group chat asks about, he's calling it a flag behind you. Why don't you tell the story of that behind you?
Oh yeah, so it's on like
It's a painting.
It's a
yeah,
picture
it's a painting.
It's a
It's a
painting.
painting. So a guy, I went to Steelers training camp in 2013, and a backup running back there out of Texas Tech was a guy named Baron Batch, who played a few years in the league. He stuck around there a while, but was an artist and opened up a studio in Pittsburgh where he'd do a lot of like graffiti style paintings like this. And so, Mom, I forget for this one, did he do this for some like just was this out of the blue? Was this for a charity?
No, it was out of the blue. That one was out of the blue. We had him do another one for Mike and Mike. He did a Super Bowl one that
Right.
you have.
Yeah,
now.
you have it. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. So yeah, Baron did this one as like a gift, like
Right,
out of the kindness of his heart, because he was an awesome guy, and we kind of stayed in touch after that. But then it was so cool, and so much of his work was really interesting when it was the Patriots and Seahawks Super Bowl, and Mike was going there. Baron commissioned one, and it was newspaper clippings of both teams and the stories in the lead up, and then ended up having, I believe, the score of one of the games or something like that painted on it at the end. But it hung behind the set all week, and then I managed to get it back and hung it in my house when I lived in Connecticut. So really cool stuff from Baron.
The funny story about that was it was when I think that Super Bowl was out here, wasn't it? Yes, because it's desert. It's got a desert motif.
Yeah.
It went AWOL. We couldn't find it for like 2 years.
Oh, that's right.
And it was finally found in a closet somewhere
At ESPN. Yeah,
like we kept
that's
saying,
right.
what happened to it? Where did it go? Because we had the full intention of like raffling it off, and it got lost on the way back, and nobody knew where it was. And like 2 years later, it was uncovered. So it was crazy.
That was pretty wild. Yeah.
So
it was huge too. Cost a lot of money.
It's very big. Yeah.
Well, and Mike's in the basement of our house at Notre Dame, and I put that picture up because other than that, the backdrop was pure plastic. And for anybody that watched the Dexter series, it looked like a murder room.
It looked like you were being held hostage every time you had a podcast.
Or maybe I was holding people hostage.
Cop to that online. Be my guest. The feds I'm excited for the feds to beat down the door and arrest me now because of that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's why I said it.
Tangerine, go. Tangerine, go.
Yeah. There's nothing in this basement but Skittles. There's so many Skittles. All right, Dad, you got more questions?
Somebody asked if we could change one rule in the NFL, what would we change? I know what I would do right now is I would make them review roughing the passers because it's a joke what's going on in the NFL. And maybe I'm a disgruntled D lineman the way they're screwing over the defense on the stupid roughing the quarterback calls that they could review and find out that they're really not roughing the quarterback calls. Don't get me going. I'll get pissed off. That's what I would do. Replay and review roughing the passer calls because a lot of them are bullshit. How's that?
Mikey A, what would you change?
No automatic first down on a defensive holding penalty. I think there's far too many easy gimme first downs that happen on 3rd and 18s. That come
5 yards and an automatic
5 yards
first down.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Good point. I like that one.
I would make the roster bigger.
Of course, that's a mom.
yeah.
Give more people. Yeah,
Include more people.
Yes, include more people.
I would
Have more guys' dreams come true.
Exactly. Go
I
ahead,
want
Mikey.
everybody to feel like stars. I think every year they should pick an undrafted player to be on the Madden cover.
Yeah.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh my God.
The alternate cover.
Do you have one, Mike?
Yeah, I would finally do away with the fumble out of the back of the end zone being a touchback and turning the ball over.
Changing possession, yeah.
Yeah, that's an insane rule. Like it, every time it pops up, everyone's mad. Everyone hates it. Apparently, we need it to happen with Mahomes and Josh Allen playing in the AFC Championship for it to get done like we did with overtime possessions.
Right.
But if that's what it takes, then so be it, because we need to get done with that.
Sid, you have one? Or do you not care?
I agree with all of them. No, I mean,
Okay, there you go.
I can't think of one specifically. I agree with the roughing the passer one.
Yeah, thanks, Sid.
I'll go with
Nice.
you. I'll ride with you on that one.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Mara's in the chat.
All
right.
I just noticed that.
Mara.
Hi, Mara. Mara
Is
runs our
Andy-
golf tournament.
Yeah, Mara is the only reason that we can function in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Also, she asked the important question too. Lacrosse season is stressing me the hell out right now. We are coming down the home stretch here. It's conference tournament time for everyone outside of the ACC that doesn't have a conference tournament because there's only 5 teams. Notre Dame's probably going to be the selection Sunday comes up this weekend where they announce the tournament bracket. It's this Sunday the tournament bracket gets announced. It's likely going to be ACC 1, 2, and 3. I would imagine Virginia's number 1. They've got 2 wins over Notre Dame this year. They just beat Notre Dame out at Klockner in Charlottesville. It's been weird. So in the ACC, they're the 3 best teams: Notre Dame, Duke, and Virginia. And it's like a snake eating its tail where Duke beats Virginia, Virginia beats Notre Dame, and Notre Dame beats Duke. Virginia swept Notre Dame this year. Notre Dame swept Duke this year. And I think Duke beat Virginia at least once. I forget if not twice. And so no one really knows how to organize them this year. But the 1 seed in men's college lacrosse probably as valuable as it's ever been. All 3 of those teams look like they should be in Philadelphia for the Final Four. I will be there just praying that somebody clips Virginia on the way up. This is the best team Notre Dame's had probably in my lifetime. You've got the 2 Kavanaughs that were Tewaaraton semifinalists. I don't know if the finalist list has come out. It's the Heisman for college lacrosse. And I need to see a Notre Dame Lax title in my lifetime. We have been knocking on the door. We were supposed to be the first team west of the Mississippi to do it, and then Denver completely stole our thunder. So I am way too invested in this, if you can't already tell.
Yeah, I could certainly. The toughest
Jesus.
one was when you were there and you had roomed with Sean Rogers, one of the players there, and they lost to Duke in overtime in the finals. I remember when a long sticker took the face off and scored right at the beginning.
It was CJ goddamn Costabile. I'll never forget his name as long as I live. I was on the 50-yard line at M&T Bank Stadium with a 6-5 game that set college lacrosse back 200 years to when the Native Americans first began the game. It was such an offensively atrocious game. And
Holy
CJ
smokes.
Costabile, a long pole, taking the face-off at the national championship game overtime, the first face-off, and he goes down and blazes it past Scotty Rogers, who ended up being the tournament MOP in a losing effort, was seared into my brain forever.
God.
Are you okay? Oh my God.
Bottom line, Mara asked, can Notre Dame win a national championship? I would say if they don't have to play Virginia. Like you said, get Virginia knocked off before Notre Dame has to play them.
Do you think they could beat Virginia?
Boy, they struggled twice doing it.
They did. This last time around, the field was slick, and so Virginia's best attribute is interior passing. They're a bad matchup for Notre Dame. Notre Dame's best guys in the attack are the Kavanaughs, but they're small. Right. The Virginia defenders are giants. They're like dinosaurs there, and so they kind of swallow those guys up. So it's a tough matchup for Notre Dame. Absolutely capable. They are one of the 3, maybe 4 teams if you throw like Maryland, or I think Cornell is the only Ivy that's really capable. But those are probably the 5 teams that, like, roster-wise, are actually capable of winning a title in the right circumstances. But Notre Dame's definitely there.
It's so funny to me because my nephew's a D1 lacrosse player, second team All-CAA, no big deal. And they always get transfers from Notre Dame. And it's always funny to me because I'm like, Mike Golic, and you're probably like, no, that person never sniffed the field. That's why he's here at Fairfield.
Yeah. Oh, he's at Fairfield? He's a Stag?
He's a Stag.
Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. CT in the building. All right. This one is in the chat. Stephanie Medina. Question: if someone decides to have a courthouse wedding, would it be appropriate for those you have attended weddings to still send a gift? Oh, those of you who would have attended the weddings to still send a gift, maybe?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's incredibly generous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't expect it though.
No, I wouldn't expect it, but
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So that seems right. So,
Lori wants to know, since we drive back and forth between Arizona and South Bend, are the dogs good travelers? Yeah, they are.
they are good travelers.
Our 3 dogs, Hank, Harry, and Ted, throw them in the van, and
Yeah,
they
we
do
have
well.
a Sprinter van. They
Yeah.
do pretty well in it.
Once they get in it, they know what the deal is.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to do that here pretty soon.
Yeah, a couple of weeks we're out.
So, what else? What other questions did you find? Any?
I'm looking.
I thought you were.
I was. They're somewhere.
Come on now.
All right, let me throw a hypothetical out. Hypothetically, you guys have a producer who does a football trip every year and was considering going to Notre Dame this year. What would be the game you think he should attend? He or
Ohio
she?
State.
Ohio
State.
Hi.
Isn't that like week 1?
No.
It's like
Week
three.
4, like 4 or 5.
No, it's like week
It's like
3, I think.
September 19th
No,
or
Dad's-
something, right?
Dad's right. It's week 5. So Notre Dame,
Yeah.
this is the schedule, Mikey. Notre Dame opens
Oh,
up
it's
against
October.
Navy week 0 in Dublin. Week 1, they have Tennessee State at home coming off that. Week 2, they're on the road at NC State. And then week 3, they come home for Central Michigan. Week 4, because again, week 0 doesn't really count. But the 5th game for Notre Dame is September 23rd, home against Ohio State. So that would be the one.
Now, for somebody who absolutely despises Ohio State, I don't know if this producer would want to go to a game and see Ohio State win. So I ask again, is that the right game to go?
Though. That's the whole point, though, is this year we might have a shot. Like,
Right.
the Ohio State's going to be breaking in a new quarterback. We finally got one.
We got a quarterback. I would say the second one would be USC. That's in October. Wouldn't you?
That one scares me a little bit.
Yeah, that one scares me. Caleb Williams.
That one scares you more than Ohio State?
But the atmosphere, Mikey A, that'll be crazy, and
Yeah.
that'll definitely turn to a night game. So they'll be all day, just people all over the campus.
Because Ohio State, we don't play them very often.
And that'll be a drive for
Yeah.
everybody from Columbus to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people won't have to fly to that one if they're coming from Columbus. So that'll be a really good one.
Yeah. I would say.
I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schedule.
If you
NFL schedule comes out next week.
if you want to see a dub October, Pittsburgh's chaotic because you never know what can happen. We should always win that game. We don't always win that game. And so that's October 28th. So you'd be Halloween weekend too in South Bend, which would be a trip.
Mm-hmm. Could be cold by then though.
Yeah.
True.
Not me, just hypothetically. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Oh. Are you looking?
Dad, you find
I'm
him yet? Or are
looking.
you okay? Okay.
I'm struggling. Struggling.
Dad, this one's from Jordan Angel in the chat. What do you guys think of the promotion and relegation system in England? This was asked in relation to the Wrexham FC promotion that we just saw. Ryan Reynolds' team that him and what's his name bought. McElhaney. I always pronounce his last name wrong. Rob McElhaney.
I just don't say his last name.
They got promoted from the 5th rung of European football to the 4th rung of European football after the Wrexham FC special and all that money that Reynolds pumped into it. Do you like relegation?
Oh, I do. I mean, somebody had said there's like 11 levels of this. They say all the way down to like the average Joes. So I did not know that, but I like it because there's enough leagues where you can do that. Because people always say, "Oh, it'd be great to do in other sports." So there really aren't enough leagues now. Baseball, you have a lot of minor league teams, but you're not dropping the worst MLB team to the minors and bringing a minor league team up to the majors. That would be horrific. So you really can't do that. I like it. I do like it. That kind of begs off a question somebody else asked as well of why soccer isn't more popular in the U.S. You know, that's from Jordan again. It's something, Mike, you and Jake didn't play. Sydney, you did. I coached you guys when you were really, really young, and then you went on to win the state championship. You're welcome. With my
I fucking
coaching.
rocked.
Yeah, Sid was the goalie.
I was a big girl.
But that's the question when we would have soccer people on all the time when we were doing shows was why it's not more popular in the U.S. because kids play it young and then they splinter off into basketball, to football, or to baseball and keep going down that road and stop doing soccer.
Well, it's changing too, right? Like it's becoming very popular. You look at a lot of these MLS stadiums, it's an incredibly rabid fan base in the US, where we know worldwide the MLS is kind of a league where older players from Europe come for a last tour.
Right.
There's all the rumors about Messi and I forget if it's Inter Miami or the other team down there. I've seen Mike Ryan and the Levitar guys talking a ton about that. But you've got a generation coming up that, and you can attribute it to FIFA or whatever you want, but a lot more people are consuming the Premier League product over here. We've always had the U.S. women's national team as the one sort of connection to soccer that people, especially who want to root for homegrown talent, that's always been their entry point. But I think the next generation is going to be really interesting to watch the U.S. relationship with soccer change.
And I know all our soccer analysts say that 2026 for the men, that's probably the target for when they think they can do something in the World Cup, because the men have not done anything. The women this summer, though, they'll be on. It'll be fun to watch. But they said 2026, they think that's when the young U.S. team will mature into a really good World Cup team. So we'll have to wait and see on that.
We did finally have all of the controversy that made us feel a little bit more like a European club with the team. Remember Gio Reyna, the player that his parents were classmates at North Carolina with the head coach of the men's national team. And then Gio didn't play inexplicably in a couple of the matches as we got through group play in the World Cup. And then all this stuff about the head coach of the national team and an incident with his wife back when they were in college that apparently got leaked by Gio Reyna's parents. It was an incredibly European soccer scandal that we had. So part of that made me feel more confident in what was going to come up.
Is that something you would do, hon? Leak a bad story to help your kids?
No.
Really?
Are you sure about that? We'll ask you one more time.
One more time.
I'm pretty sure no.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. It depends on the day.
Changes the day to day, yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
One of my favorite exercises back from the daily radio days was we did the regulation thing. We did it with college football. Like we mapped out like if you group teams into different levels and then you could, go up and down promotion, relegation. It actually really does work well if you did it with our entire college football system. Like you could have you could do it, and I think it would be really fun to see teams trying to move up, to give a bunch of teams goals to reach that isn't just make the playoff.
So would that be like if a bad team in the SEC would get relegated to the Pac-12?
Well, I mean, you'd have to throw, pretty much, but you have to kind of throw out the conferences. But imagine Ohio State, we're not going to do that now anyway. But, imagine all these teams, and then one is going to be the champion, one is going to move up to that level. I think it could really work.
There are, as someone who I will recommend to anybody, the best sports book I've ever read is called The Club, and it's about how the English Premier League came to be in the early '90s. Because the English Premier League's only been around since like 1992, 1993. It's not a centuries old institution in soccer, but when you read that, the business of soccer at that level sounds overwhelmingly like college football. Because the whole reason they started the Premier League is you had, Dad, to your point, all of these clubs that are in such wildly different financial situations. It's like they're playing different sports. And that's the same with the top end of college football that's got 130 plus teams now. So it could absolutely work because, Dad, you talked about like if you send one of these bad teams up, they're not equipped, but now they're getting all of this money, all of this attention. That's what we see happen in promotion and relegation, all the dollars attached to it. It would be awesome.
Plus in the portal too, you can get it. You can build a team through that, as well to be a better team. So that would be really interesting. Doubt it'll ever happen, but it'll be interesting.
Oh no, it'll never happen because people over here figured out that promotion and relegation thwarts like the sure source of income that all these people have now.
Right.
Exactly.
But if you're ever just sitting on a plane or something, just list out the teams and then just be like, oh, you could make a really fun little conference here and then try and regulate. It's actually really interesting.
On a plane, I'm too busy watching Netflix. Something I taped.
Yeah, he's got.
You're always doing that.
Yeah. Got things I got to watch.
Coming up this summer on Gojo, leading into the Women's World Cup coverage, we are going to stratify college football into tiers and really promote them. Here we go.
All right, Mikey, we want to make that announcement about the shirts are going to be going online for our golf tournament.
Yes. All right. So, as you can see here again in the middle, Golic family, and if you're not watching on YouTube right now, thank you to everybody in the chat who's been here. GolicFamilyFoundation.com is the website for our foundation that has all the information about the Golic Subpar Classic charity tournament. And last year we put a shirt on sale because we know everyone's not going to be able to make it to South Bend. Not everyone's going to be able to be involved directly in the charitable efforts that go on there. But we want a way for people to be able to support and to be able to help us help all of the deserving charities. Again, all of the money that goes towards the foundation goes to benefit local charities that we choose in the South Bend area, trying to give back to this area that's been so good to us. And so if you want to help out with that, we are going to have a shirt up on sale on GolicFamilyFoundation.com where the proceeds will go towards this. So if you can't make the tournament, we have got the Golic Family Foundation swag. It's an awesome shirt this year. So for my money, and Dad, you've been to a million of these tournaments, we have come up with, I think, the comfiest merch of any charity tournament I've ever been a part of.
It's the one thing, and the woman who helps run it for us, Mara, when we talk with her, we're like, when we bring people in, whether it's the golfers or celebrities, we want to give out good stuff.
Yeah.
We want, because we've gone to a lot of these and you get a lot of the same stuff at different ones. We always want it to be just a little bit different and maybe just a little bit better to give the golfers, the people who are helping our foundation, the celebrities who are giving of their time. And then a lot of these auction items as well will be online for those that can't attend. And we'll give you that info as well coming up because A, we're trying to raise money for some great causes, and B, we want to open it up to more than just the people that are at the tournament. So that's why we're doing this. And yeah, some of the merch is some really, really, really good stuff, and we really dig these shirts that we're going to put online.
It's a baseball style shirt.
Very comfy.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Really good quality, and we just cover the cost of the shirt, and anything over that goes to the charities.
Yep.
So.
So to answer Lori Busco's question, for anyone that bought the shirt last year, it is a different shirt this year.
Shirts.
So
yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll always be different.
I like it better this year.
Yeah, they're very, very, very nice.
Yeah.
And we just want to find ways for people that can't be here to be involved because, in all honesty, we can raise more money. That's what it's all about. So it's our second year of it. First year went very, very well, and we're just looking to continue that.
Okay.
So that'll be
yeah.
Okay, go. What were you gonna say, Mike?
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So that'll be up on the website soon. I don't think it's up there right this second.
No, not yet.
Not yet. But it'll be there soon, and we'll put it on social media so people know it's out there.
We'll let y'all know.
Yeah.
All right, I have some would you rather's.
No way.
Oh my God, I don't believe you.
Oh my God.
You
no,
have
I mean,
two?
you have a couple. Yeah.
Got a couple of
One's kind of like
sarcastic
weirdly horny.
No.
And one's like super fucking serious that no one wants to answer.
Really depressing.
They are not horny at all like that. So here it is. Would you rather walk in on your parents or have them walk in on you? Ha 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 ha. I'm just
you
kidding.
guys can walk in. It's fine. I can't see that.
I could say you guys have to live with this vision, not me. Absolutely, there's no way.
Yeah, I wasn't going to read that until you brought it up.
That wasn't even a question, really. But...
Here it is.
Oh.
But it's on here. It's on here, just so you know. All right. Would you rather be the absolute best at something that no one takes seriously or average at something well-respected?
I feel like I'm the best stay-at-home daughter and no one gives a fuck, so.
And you're good with that, huh?
It's going well.
I mean, up until this point, I've made a living off being average at something that people care a lot about, so it's worked out pretty well.
Mikey A?
I mean, yeah, let's do that. Let's be average at things people care about.
That's like being like an average like NFL player. People care about the NFL.
Right.
And you're average.
I I guess that's right down my alley. That's kind of what I was.
I am the best cornhole player in the world.
So
Great.
it's either
Hey, it's a big deal on ESPN.
Did you see that guy is in the NFL?
be average in the NFL, or maybe I could be the greatest handball player of all time.
It would be like sick to be like lethal at darts or at pool and to be able to go and like hustle people in the bar, or at the very least just impress people when you're out at a bar and everyone's kind of muttering around and you're just over there running shit.
That'd be interesting.
Just Ted Lassoing it? Barbecue sauce.
Yeah, right?
Barbecue sauce.
Exactly.
All right, here's another one. Would you rather have unlimited battery life on all your devices or have free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
Oh,
I'm not
Wi-Fi.
answering this question.
Wi-Fi. Sydney.
Wi-Fi, yeah.
Sydney,
I just
you
get
are
stressed.
Yeah. Where does Wi-Fi come from? Is it just
I
floating
feel like
in the air?
unlimited battery would be more harmful to me than good. Like, I feel like things dying forces me to, like, put it away for a while. But
Oh,
free
that makes
Wi-Fi
sense.
is...
Yeah. I think
clutch.
I think there should be free Wi-Fi
I think there should be
everywhere.
Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. Completely agree
I
with
think
that.
there should be free Wi-Fi and no one should talk about it ever again. And we should all just live with it without ever discussing what
Just
it is
know
and what
it's
it
there,
means.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Kinda
anyone
like
that
air.
wasn't here, my sister has extreme anxiety over the concept of Wi-Fi and how it works.
Ben tried to explain it to her, and her eyes just glaze
Glazed
over.
She want
Is it literally? She said, "Is it just floating out there? Is it that how
I
where
don't
it
fucking
is?"
get it. Where did... I'm not having this. I don't have the time today, okay?
Oh, that
It
is
is
awesome.
And I mean,
Is it just
Sydney's
like a
approach to
force?
Wi.
What'd you
What's
Is it
it?
just like a force field? Like,
A force field.
you know, like
Oh God.
okay, we don't have to do this right now. I
Sydney's
can't.
gonna hit the point where like Neo in the Matrix, she like learns how to see zeros and ones, but she's just gonna see where Wi-Fi is.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Oh my
it's in here. Like,
It's there, right there with you.
It
You're
is.
breathing
There's
it
some
in.
right behind you.
Yeah.
it's like a ghost.
Look out.
Jesus
might hit you
Christ,
in the
it's all over you.
Wow. All right, that's all I got. Remember, we have not one, not two, but three
Big announcements.
big
coming.
announcements coming up that we can't say just yet, but we will probably in the next podcast that we do. Again, three big announcements.
It's a big deal.
That
Yes.
is.
What a month.
Could it
Yeah.
be?
Woohoo.
Wow, what could it be?
Woohoo!
That's all I have.
Alicia
I'm done.
Ross is with Sydney on the Wi-Fi debate. So
High
Sydney,
five.
you
See,
have
Alicia?
support.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. She
It's
gets
fucking
you.
scary out here. Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
guys.
seriously?
If you're also afraid of Wi-Fi, make sure you download, subscribe, rate, and review the only podcast that gives you a safe space to fear modern technology. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review. Check us out on the DraftKings YouTube channel as well. God Christ, I went into the Gojo.
You did.
End of,
You just
I
blacked
went
out.
into the Gojo end of show rant here. But also check out that on the DraftKings
Just hit a little
YouTube
remix.
channel.
Yeah.
And check out the Sorry in Advance YouTube channel. Download, subscribe, and like everything there. And as always, we're sorry in advance.
I'm not.
No,
No.
you're not.